I'm not sure if you guys have heard, but UFC 309 is this weekend, and Jon Jones is just pissing every single person off. Now, I know what you're thinking. What kind of criminal charge was brought upon him this time? Listen, actually, you can't prosecute for being a duck in the United States. Maybe in other countries you can. Heard they like ducks in Haiti. But listen, I'm not here to talk about all of Jon Jones's criminal charges today. That's not what this is about. He's pissing people off because, you guessed it, he won't fight Tom Aspinall. We know he's not going to fight Tom Aspinall. Dana White has gone crazy and saying, I think he's going to do it. He wants to challenge himself. Now, maybe Jon Jones is trolling with all the crap that he's saying. Very good possibility. But I really think that he sees danger in Tom Aspinall, and he is going to do everything he can to avoid that fight, including trying to take a fight with Pereira, including just dismissing Aspinall, holding up the heavyweight division and doing so. And today what we're going to do is watch his interview, at least a piece of it, with Kevin Iole, break that down, and then also go through a couple of other things on why Aspinall does deserve this shot. And when Jon Jones is saying, oh, he shouldn't have it, we're going to break down where Jones was when he got his title shot, where Aspinall is now that he deserves his title shot, defending the interim championship and all stuff like that. And we're also going to look at some of the comments that people are defending Jon Jones like he's Christ himself. Like, I mean, let's be real. I know he's a quote-unquote man of God, because that's a good excuse for him when he does stupid shit like crashes a car into a pregnant lady and flees the scene, beats his wife to a bloody pulp to the point where his kids need to call the police because their mother is laying in a pool of blood by the hands of, the baddest man on the planet. That's a real tough guy move. PED cheat. There's a litany of the other things, but today, I promise, it's just breaking down Jon Jones being a duck for Tom Aspinall. I promise. We might get into other stuff. Like, I might go on a rant, like I already did to start the video. 2-minute rant to start the video. We're off to a hard start. Let's just get into it. We're going to start looking at this Kevin Iole interview. I'm going to be pausing it, like, in and out just because, I don't want YouTube to take certain parts out, so I'm going to be pausing in and out. I just want you guys to see this. Go check out the full interview on Kevin Iole's page, because if you do not, you'll still understand the severity, but you should watch it. It really is just a treat to see the full thing and see what he's been doing. Let's just start this right away. I want to make sure you can see every part of this here. Yeah, we'll go kind of like this. That should be good enough. Let's look at this totally straight man, Jon Jones, fucking start chirping early.
It's always a pleasure to work with you. One of the best.
Love.
Right off the bat, he's lying. Jon doesn't want to fucking work with anybody.
Hey, Mitch, it's Jon. 16 years and it never gets old, right?
Yes, sir. You and I have been doing this for a very long time, Kevin. It's always a pleasure to work with you. One of the best.
Dude, this is the most inorganic, like, hey, haven't seen you in a while, old-timer conversation that I've ever seen in my life. And listen, Kevin Iole, sure, he's an old-timer, but I gotta give respect to Kevin Iole, because this guy just fucking asks the questions that we want to hear. Whether the fighters like it or not, he asks the questions that we need to know. So good work from Iole, and Jon Jones again with the classic bullshit. Like, he doesn't want to be there. He's fake. People know he's fake, but he's still trying to, like, trick himself that he's a good guy, or just your average Joe that fucking beats women. Like, what a scumbag PED cheat rat. But, before I get back into ranting, just wanted to show that right off the interview, right off the bat, fake motherfucker. We're going to go to 233. Why Stipe get in the fight? And Kevin Iole did a good job leaving, what am I looking for? The fucking timestamps for where he talks about shit. I tried it for one video. I thought about doing it again. The reason I don't, guys, I really want you to watch the full video. Come on. It would really help the page. And then as this thing continues to grow, we'll do timestamps so you can skip through. But please enjoy the video.
I think I know you pretty well and kind of what makes you tick. And, a lot of people.
I know you love to beat women. Okay.
People are questioning why is Stipe getting this fight, because he hasn't won a fight in so long and he hasn't fought in quite a long time. Is it because he is widely considered to be the greatest heavyweight of all time? Is that sort of in your?
Why is Stipe getting the fight over Aspinall is the gist of that question. Now, he's making it to a point of a layup where it's like Jon's not going to get super pissed off where he asked the question. I get what you're doing, Iole. It's not a bad play, but I kind of want to just go right at Jon. Pause. No Jones. Damn, that was very Jones-like. But, yeah, dude, just fucking go after him. But I get it. You need the interview out of him, and it's still Jon Jones across the camera. He is a scary human because he doesn't have really regard for anybody's safety.
Thinking when you say, hey, Stipe's the guy I want to fight, that the reputation he has within the division that you now compete in?
Yeah.
Way too long-winded of a question, by the way. Like, why'd you pick Stipe over Aspinall? Do you think he deserves it because he's the GOAT of heavyweight? That's the question.
You know, I feel that it's unfortunate that we live in a world where one bad performance discredits a person so much.
One bad performance from your wife in bed, and that means you have to beat her ass? Okay, I get it, John. It's one performance. Guys, I'm just joking. No way Jon Jones would ever do that. Okay, pal. One bad performance. Listen, I know she cooked the chicken wrong, but that doesn't mean you have to beat her ass for it. Anyway, moving on. One bad performance. Why? Because he got knocked out by Francis, the guy that you were afraid to fight a couple of years ago? And then Dana would go on saying, yo, Jon doesn't want that fight. And nowadays he's like, Francis didn't want that fight. Dana, I mean, buddy, I know what you're doing. You're not fooling anybody, Dana. I get it. Don't make us go get the oil again, Dana.
You know, Stipe has beat everyone. I mean,
except for Aspinall. Tom Aspinall has also beaten everyone that is currently fighting today. 5 out of the top 10, maybe 6 out of the top 10. All of which have been finished in the first round, by the way. Except for the GOAT, Andrei Arlovski, who made it to round 2. Insane. But, that's fine. Aspinall hasn't lost except for blowing his fucking knee out. But he's beaten everyone at heavyweight too, John. He's also the interim champ and defended his belt. But I get it. You can hold up the whole division.
Junior Dos Santos, Francis.
Oh, Junior Dos Santos? You mean the 230-pound heavyweight? Wow. Wow, he beat Junior Dos Santos.
Ngannou, Daniel Cormier, some of the biggest names.
Ngannou and Cormier are good wins, but again, we're looking at a point where everyone's like, well, dude, Jon Jones, why would he fight him if he's 37 and Aspinall's young? That's just dumb for his career. Well, if I seem to remember, DC fought Jones when he was 38, and then he fought Stipe when he was in his 40s, so... yeah, I don't, listen... Jon Jones is fighting a washed Stipe Miocic, but the DC that Jon Jones fought wasn't washed. Guys, let's just make it make sense here. Let's just make it make sense.
Names, many champions he's defeated. And
you're right, he's defeated many champions. Aspinall hasn't yet. Because you won't let him, you fucking coward.
I feel like I'm wise enough to know that one bad night doesn't make a man or break a man. And
not one bad night, because, it wasn't just one time that you beat the shit out of your wife and had a bad night, because I think she undercooked the chicken a couple times, or maybe overcooked it and it was too dry for you, John. I would also say there was another bad night where you hit the pregnant lady, or the nights where you pop positive for PEDs and ruin events or need to move events because it's Jon Jones, right? We're allowed to do it because it's Jon Jones. God forbid anyone criticizes the terrible human being that people want to call his GOAT. Yeah. Or call the GOAT. Yeah, okay. One bad night. Anyway, I'm not going to... I've got it... I'm saying I got it all out of the system now. I'm sure at some point I'll have another crash out in the next couple minutes. But let's just move to 4 minutes and 10 seconds where he just... another big part of this here is Dana White.
Even though you haven't fought, in 2 years or a year and a half, people also think he's the greatest heavyweight. He just hasn't been active. And I think that's the argument people make.
I hear you.
I hear you. If he wasn't behind a camera and he was in there with you, Kevin Iole, you would not be safe.
What it shows me is our boss's loyalty to his athletes.
Really? Loyalty to the athletes. Kind of like when he said, listen, Jon and Stipe deserve it. They're both legends. And then he proceeded to have Jose Aldo return, fight Jonathan Martinez, and then fight Mario Batista. No, we shouldn't give him a Cruz or a Cejudo fight, a real Legends fight. Only Jon Jones and Stipe get that, because Dana really likes to take care of his guys. Kind of like when he almost passed up Stipe Miocic for a DC rematch for Brock Lesnar. Now, I know Paul Heyman was probably talking with Dana White behind the scenes. I get that. But are we really talking about Dana sticking up for his guys? Really? Or is he just giving the finger to Ngannou so everyone can stop talking about him? Because if you want to give the finger to Ngannou, Dana, that's fine. You know how you do it? You put the most dangerous guy we've ever seen in the UFC in the octagon with Jon Jones, let him lay him out flat, hold, and say, buddy, Francis doesn't stand a chance against this guy. And instead, you got people saying, yeah, dude, Jon he sat out until Francis left, he miraculously came back, and now Jon thought he was confident enough to win? Yeah, bullshit. You want to send the FU to Francis, Dana? You prove that Tom Aspinall is the most dangerous guy, because he's active right now, and he's going to keep knocking people out left and right. He is. You gave him the Curtis Blades fight. Listen, Francis went in there twice with Curtis Blades. Francis beat him twice. Not as quick as Aspinall did it. Aspinall threw a jab, sat him down, and landed up follow-up shots in a minute. No one does that to Curtis Blades. Not to Joe Rogan, this thing here. Nobody does that to Curtis Blades. Nobody does that to him. Nobody does. You're right, Joe. No one does. Thanks, Twan. Now I'm going insane. I got the voices and everything. Guys, I'm going insane. Just making sure Dana protects him. Fucking coward. Dana, man, I mean, you're based at times, but then you do shit like this that makes me wonder, like, maybe Dana was at the Diddy parties and Jon Jones has a video of it, all right? I get it. Maybe Jones hangs out with Beyonce and Jay-Z. All right, I'm going to get myself killed if I'm still talking about this tinfoil hat thing. All right, we're going to move on to 748. If I can read, count, whatever. We'll probably get an ad, and if there's an ad, I'm sorry. I don't have premium.
Okay.
If you defeat
I called that. Just saying, I called it. Thank you.
him as you're a 6-1 favorite to win the fight, if you defeat him, will you defend your belt against Aspinall, who has...
John, you're a 6-1 favorite to win the fight. This really means legacy for you, right? 6-1. Now, I know every single one of Makhachev's fights, he's a -600 favorite, but it's not like he's fighting, a 42-year-old wash guy. He's fighting the pound-for-pound #1 in Alexander Volkanovski on Volkanovski's home turf. He's fighting Dustin Poirier, legend of the game that isn't in his 40s, coming off a big knockout win and is still at the top of the division. His next fight is with Arman Sarukian, a legit contender. Okay, John, but your legacy fight, you're going to go in -600 and it's against a guy that doesn't even deserve the shot? Okay, John, go back to the question because this is what we really want to know. Why are you not fighting Tom Aspinall?
And I know you're focused on that fight. If you defeat him as you're a 6-1 favorite to win the fight, if you defeat him, will you defend your belt against Aspinall, who has the interim title?
Yeah, will you defend the belt against the guy who has the interim title? The one that's been waiting for you, the one that's the real champion of the division to a lot of people, the one that has laid out flat multiple contenders in his division. The same ones that are going out there and beating the shit out of everyone else, coming back to the top just so Aspinall can lay them flat again. Would you fight that guy that's defended his interim belt? Who's a real danger to you? Who's called you out a number of times? Or are you going to sit here and ruin his career because Dana's going to get on his knees for you? Are you going to hold up the whole heavyweight division? You would never do something that selfish, Sean. It's not like you've had an entire event moved for you or got a UFC event canceled or... I'm not going to keep going. You're a good guy, John. You would never do anything like that. You wouldn't try and tarnish the heavyweight division. Would you fight the interim champion who's already defended his belt once, Jon Jones?
More than likely not.
You're a bitch. You're a bitch. More than likely not. You're a bitch.
Likely not. I feel like Tom Aspinall is, I don't want to say nobody.
You just said it. Newsflash, when you say, I don't want to say nobody, you just called them a nobody. Let's talk about this nobody really quick. 30% off Sephora. This nobody, 11 wins, 1 loss. In the KO category, sorry. That 1 loss was when he blew his fucking knee out. That submission loss and the DQ loss, bro. Okay, so he's got the Hamill part on his record. Got that. The submission loss coming early in his career before he got to the UFC. Let's talk about this nobody who gets into the UFC, has 2 canceled belts in a row, gets the fight back, 45-second knockout with a right hand over Jake Collier. The great Jake Collier, I get it, we're talking about one of the greats in the UFC. Knocks him out cold. Alan Badeau, another absolute stud, UFC future Hall of Famer, knocks him out in the first round. Andrei Arlovski. This is where I thought that Tom Aspinall was a fraud when I first watched. I will not lie. After this fight, I go, he went to round 2 with Arlovski. Spivak's going to beat his ass. I'm like, Sergey Spivak. Rear naked choke in round 2. Finishes Arlovski. 3-0 in the UFC at this point, by the way. Just saying. 4-0 over Sergey Spivak, who was 13-2 at the time. Beat him with ground and pound elbows in 1 round. 4-0. Against a guy that is ranked at like 7 in the division right now, who's gone on to win multiple fights after this, including over Marcin Tybura. Alexander Volkov, the guy that just 30-27, 29-28'd Sergey Pavlovich. Same guy that's ranked number 3 in the division right now. Yeah, Aspinall slipped the right hand, got a takedown, and got a straight arm lock in the first round. Great submission win. What's this loss on his record? Oh, it's a knee injury. 15 seconds in, that's a wash. So now we're looking at a guy that is technically 5-1 in the UFC, but really 5-0. Then he comes back from injury. First round knockout over Marcin Tybura. No stud, but a ranked guy. More wins than Jon Jones has had in the rankings. Then we're looking at a guy in Sergey Pavlovich that we're all saying, oh my God, he's the Russian Ngannou. Anyone he fights is getting knocked out in the first round. He had a 6-fight, maybe it was 5 or 6 first-round knockout record. In the heavyweight division. Everyone was terrified to fight him. 2 weeks' notice. Tom Aspinall gets the call. Injured back. Goes in there. Lays Sergey Pavlovich out flat in 1 round. Knocked him out in a round. The same guy that at the time we were all terrified of. The entire heavyweight division was terrified of. Aspinall knocked him out. Immediately. With a back injury. And off 2 weeks' notice. All right. He's ready to... He should be fighting Aspinall. He should be fighting Jon Jones next. No, Jon Jones, we're going to have you fight Stipe Miocic. Okay, we'll keep the Stipe fight. Then why don't you defend your interim belt, Tom Aspinall? Against the hardest contender that Jon Jones would have faced, not named Tom Aspinall in this division, by the way. Curtis Blaydes, very difficult fight. Very difficult fight. A guy that has wins over Volkov. Got knocked out by Pavlovich, but dude, he has wins up top there. Curtis Blaydes gets knocked out in the first round. By a jab. And then ground and pound. So, I just want to go back to what Jon Jones said.
Aspinall, who has the interim title?
More than likely not. I feel like Tom Aspinall is, I don't want to say nobody.
A nobody. With a UFC record of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-1. 8-0 really, because it was an injury that got to the point that he was at. So really, 8-1. Okay, that's a nobody. That's a nobody to you, Jon Jones. Okay.
But he just hasn't proven anything. He hasn't done anything.
He has the shortest fight time in UFC history. And it's not like he fought twice. He has 9 fights in the UFC, and he still has the shortest fight time in UFC history, and it's not close. It's not close. He's laying people out flat. He won an interim belt on 2 weeks' notice against the most dangerous guy the UFC had to offer. He won that fight by knockout, and then he went and defended that belt against the next scariest guy for him to fight. What do you mean he's proved nothing? What do you mean that he's a nobody? You want to know what this means, Jon Jones? You are fucking terrified. Terrified. Pussy rat bitch.
I understand that. I mean, he won his belt against Sergey. Sergey just got slaughtered by someone else. So it's just like,
He won his belt against Sergey right after Sergey was walking through everyone else. So I'm sick of people saying, well, Sergey was kind of fraud checked by Alexander Volkov. You don't think that Tom Aspinall took some of that confidence right off of him? That's why Sergey was super timid in that fight to start, and Volkov just got away from him. But that same guy that battered Sergey that we talked about, yeah, that's the same guy that Tom Aspinall straight arm locked in 3.5 minutes. So Aspinall beat the shit out of that guy too.
I'm not here to gamble someone else making a name off of me. I'm here to.
That's the guy you're going to call the GOAT? That's who I'm supposed to call the GOAT? The guy that's not here to gamble his legacy or his record or anything like that. The guy that's not here to face the toughest competition or the interim champ that he might possibly lose for the first time in Jon Jones' career, other than maybe a DC fight. There's a chance that he can fucking lose. There's a chance that he can lose. And he's not going to give Tom Aspinall the chance. Tom Aspinall hasn't proved anything. You haven't given him the chance to. Every time he tries, the way for him to build legacy, for him to prove himself to become a champion, it's through you. It has to be. You're the one holding the belt. If you and Stipe want to dick around and do a Legends fight, take the fucking belt away. Take it away. What are we talking about here, guys? What are we This is the GOAT? This is the GOAT. Are you kidding me? The guy that doesn't want to tarnish his legacy, this is the GOAT? Go fight or go fucking retire. But he's going to do something else here that proves he's a fucking coward.
Compete against the guys where when we look back, 10 years from now, it'd be like Jon Jones fought this guy and that guy and this legend and this champion. And
the Aspinall fight does so... True or false? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure there'll be a guy that's a Jon Jones fan that, really, really signifies with, and really aligns with, the wife beating and the PED cheating. Someone that really, really enjoys that about Jon Jones will go into the comments and say, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Why would Jon ruin his legacy? You're casual, bro. You're a casual, or you just don't like Jones outside the octagon. No, I don't. But I also don't like what he's doing here. Why, he doesn't have a fucking 7-inch frame advantage against the guy, so now he doesn't want to fight him? Not a physicality advantage against the guy? Aspinall doesn't really have a hole in his game that we know of yet, so he doesn't want to fight him? Whereas when he fights Lyoto, you can just out-grapple Lyoto? You fight DC, you have the length and the frame advantage, and you can outstrike DC very easily? Or Cyril Gahn, who doesn't know how to defend a fucking takedown or a choke? That's your guy, huh? Okay. We'll remember that, Jon. For your legacy. This would do, if you beat Tom Aspinall, there is no doubt, PEDs or not, he's the GOAT. That's the toughest fight you could possibly imagine. Why would you do that for your legacy, though, Jon?
this champion. If there were to be a fight of a guy that's still on our UFC roster that would be not only financially worth it, but...
So, Jon's talking about who he would fight. It's not Aspinall. I would fight someone else, though.
legacy worth it, it would be Alex Pereira.
He really thinks by saying the name Alex Pereira, everyone's going to go, damn. Jon's tough for that one, bro. That's a tough fight. He really is that out of touch that he thinks that just by saying the name Alex Pereira, and maybe Kevin Iole's just giving him the fuck, you would fight Pereira? Duh, duh, duh. You would fight Pereira? Duh, duh, duh. Pereira has a hole in his game and it's grappling, dude. Like, I love Alex Pereira. I'm sure this fight would be fun for 5 seconds. But we know how it's going to go. Jon is going to take him down and going to submit him. There's a hole in the game to exploit there. Alex Pereira, so you want to say that Tom Aspinall hasn't proven himself by winning an interim belt and defending it against the real toughest competition at heavyweight. But Alex Pereira's coming off a win against Khalil Roundtree. No disrespect to Khalil Roundtree, but let's be real. He was the number 8 ranked contender that's coming off a win over Anthony Smith. A guy that you illegally need, Jon, but was no match at light heavyweight for any of the current light heavyweights. He got a title shot against Pereira. Before that, Pereira knocked out Yuri for the second time. He's knocked out Jamal Hill. Like, dude, Tom Aspinall's laying people in this division out flat. And you want a guy that's smaller than you to go up, not shorter, smaller in terms of body weight, to go up and fight you. That's who you want for the fight. Alex Pereira has the chance to become the most beloved fighter of all time. One of two things will do this. He can look and say, no, I won't fight Jones until Jones fights Aspinall. That would make him beloved and put Jones in a really tough spot. What could also happen? He can say, yeah, I want to fight for an undisputed title, and I don't think Jones has the title. Shama, I'm going to fight Tom Aspinall, the real badass of the division. That's what you do. But no.
Alex Pereira and I, we both 37.
Light heavyweight champ.
Yeah, we're both 37 years old. Right now, I weigh about...
DC was 38. Who cares that you're 37 years old, John? DC was 38. You were 30. Shut the fuck up, you coward. You're 37, Aspinall's 31. That's a closer age gap. And you're younger than DC was. Screw John. You want to talk about legacy? Let's talk about it. 8-0 in the UFC. 9-0 as far as I'm... 8-1, 9-0... I don't know, fucking... The only thing he lost to in the UFC was a broken knee. Or a busted Achilles. Or not Achilles, knee injury. I'm so fucking flustered that I'm not even saying the right shit. But look at how many fights it took him to get a interim champ belt. Interim champ fight in the UFC. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. On his 8th fight, he gets a chance at an interim belt on short notice. Then he defends it in his 9th fight. Jon Jones, when did you get yours? Now, we're going to look into Jon Jones' legacy also. Based Tapology, by the way. Not putting him at 1. Love that. Let's just go through this. Because Jon Jones' first fight in the UFC was... here. Andre Gusmo. 1, 2, 3, 4, which was a loss. Still a loss. 5, 6, 7. On his 8th fight, he got an undisputed title fight. On his 8th fight, he got an undisputed title fight. But look at the names he beat. Andre Gusmo. Are we serious? Stephan Bonner. Old head. Went to war with Forrest Griffin. Bro. Jake O'Brien. Who the fuck is that guy? Then he loses by doing an illegal strike that I'm sure people will use to... So people will look at Aspinall has 3 L's on his record. One's an injury. The other one is a submission. And then the last one is illegal strikes. People will look and be like, but Aspinall has that loss on his record. And then look at the Matt Hamill loss and be like, yeah, but illegal elbows are stupid, bro. Then he fights Brendan Vera. Who the fuck is that guy? Vladimir. I'm not even going to try and butcher the name. Finally gets to someone like a great in the light heavyweight division, Ryan Bader. Beats him by a guillotine choke, and then he gets a Shogun Rua fight. You want to know why he got the Shogun Rua fight? Because Shogun Rua isn't a coward and said, yes, I want to fight the best. Yep, you get your chance at your legacy by taking a title fight. But the Shogun Rua is a guy that nowadays, like if he were fighting, dude, he's a pride middleweight. Nowadays, the people Shogun Rua's size are fighting at middleweight, maybe welterweight. Shafkat's like bigger than the guy. Quentin Rampage Jackson, same thing, should have been a middleweight. Lyoto Machida did fight at middleweight multiple times. Rashad Evans, another guy that should be at middleweight. John has a frame advantage against all these dudes, and a skill advantage. Then he fights Vitor Belfort, who's also on PEDs, I get it. Another guy that's fought at middleweight. Chael Sonnen has also fought at middleweight. He also wouldn't fight Chael Sonnen on short notice, like a bitch. Gustafsson gave him the toughest fight in his life. A lot of people think that Gus won that fight. It's 50-50. If you give it to Jones, if you give it to Gus, I'm okay with either. It's a very, very close fight, but some people really do think he lost that fight. Glover Teixeira he beat. That's a really good win. I will say that's a very good win. DC he beats. After, belts get canceled because he's cheating. He's a PED cheat. But this wasn't the one. He beat DC, who has a major size advantage, or a major size disadvantage. Then he beat OSP, who we know sucks. Dan Henderson he beat. Old man, and fought at middleweight. DC, he kicks in the head, but he was on so many PEDs that, only a castrated male could have those, or the level of testosterone that he had. So it got overturned. Then Gus he beats after having the event moved because it was the Nevada State Athletic Commission did not want to sanction the fight against Alexander Gustafsson because Jon Jones had so much testosterone in his system or had the levels of a castrated male. He was on some shit. So they moved it to Los Angeles, California, which is a more lenient commission. And then he gets a knockout there. Surprise, surprise. Beats Anthony Smith after an illegal knee. Guy who we know to be not that talented in the light heavyweight division nowadays. Thiago Santos, he beat on a split decision. Thiago Santos had a busted knee. Split decision he won. He got his ass beat by Dom Reyes after that. And they just gave him a UD. Then he chokes out Cyril Gano as no grappling. And now he gets a Stipe fight? Dude, don't give me this legacy bullshit. Then we go to Pereira. You want to fight Pereira? Dude, the guy got a title fight in 4 shots, but we can't get Aspinall one? 4 fights, he gets a title fight. He knocks Andres Michailidis, gets Bruno Silva, then jumps up to Sean Strickland, who will only strike with him, and then he knocks out Adesanya. Loses to Adesanya, goes up, wins a split decision against Blachowicz, Yuri, Jamal, Yuri, and then Khalil Roundtree. These are actual light heavyweights. These guys right here will pose John more problems than the guys that were on his resume. I'm sorry if you don't think so, but the game is different nowadays. People are more well-rounded. Drives me nuts that people think this. And then you go to Instagram, follow the Fight Volts. Guy is awesome content, always posting all the time. But this is how fans feel. I want you to know this. This is how most fans feel. Read what Jon Jones has to say here. I know it's hard for a lot of you guys to grasp, but based on his resume today, fighting and beating him, being Aspinall, would change literally nothing about my legacy. I would literally be the same position I would be now, the GOAT. John. This is everything for your legacy, brother. This is all of it. This is everything. And great response from the Fight Vaults here. Great response. Let me position it so you can see the whole thing. Based, calling him a pussy. You can't pick and choose like this when you have the responsibility of the title. Correct. If you have the title, you fight the guys that deserve to fight for the title. You want just legacy fights, give up the title. You're giving an undeserving 42-year-old whose last fight was KO'd and had over 3 years off a chance that others are more deserving for. We get it, John. You're the GOAT, but you're acting like a pussy. Based. 10-7 the Fight Volts. Based. We're liking that message. Because that's a newer one. I like this page. But see, the fucking cope from people, dude? I like this page with the person running it acts like a tough guy behind the keyboard. Oh, you mean like Jon Jones does when he's behind the wheel and he likes to ram into pregnant women with his car? Oh, we don't want to talk about that though, right? Or when he's the tough guy that, hits his wife because he can't get it up because he's of the zesty variety? Brother, grow up. Why are you acting 12? How does the heavyweight GOAT, most decorated fighter of all time in that weight class, not deserve to fight pound for pound GOAT for the title defense? Blah, 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 blah. Beat Gon when nobody wanted to fight Tom. Dude, these guys are crazy. These guys are crazy. The cope, bro. The way people will talk about this. Let's go to Home of Fight, where you have some of the real fucking crazies that only watch because they love that Jon Jones hits women. I might get in trouble for the amount of things that I'm saying, but you know what? It's fucking true. If I'm lying, I can get in trouble, but Jon Jones is not a good person, guys, and I'm allowed to say that. Oh, here we go. This is going to be a good one. Stipe called him a bitch. Base Stipe. Poor Stipe's getting so disrespected, too. Stipe's no slouch, bro, but, it should be Aspinall. Look at this. This is absolutely accurate. Whole MMA community would heal if Stipe KOs Jon. Jon was fishing for motivation to beat this old man. Okay. Goes completely silent when Aspinall says anything. Duck. Completely true. Dude, you have people cropping a duck on his shorts. That's how pissed off people are with him right now. I wonder if this is what Jon said to his wife right before he beat her. I mean, dude, I'm not the only one saying it. Bro, trying too hard to promote. I can't say that word. We don't care. Like him or not, that was cold. Dude, the glaze, bro. Tell me someone posted a glazed donut. Like the way people will defend him and then go after you for like talking shit. You're gonna wish you didn't say that, the painting nails emoji. This is how fans feel, dude. I'm not gonna keep diving through this. You get the gist. Jon Jones is a duck, he's a pussy, and he's not gonna fight Aspinall at the end of this fight, and Dana's gonna somehow defend it. If the Pereira fight gets made, we riot. We riot. Predictions for the UFC 309 card are coming out today as well. I'll be in South Carolina, so I'm getting all these out early in the week. But if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And if you guys hate Jon Jones, can I get a comment, fuck Jon Jones, in the comments, please? Thank you very much.